One thing I learned about GI early on is that, there's almost two Greg Inglis's. There's GI, the bloke who you see out on the field who's just a wrecking ball, probably the most destructive attacking player of all time. And then there's Greg Inglis, who's a really deep thinker, very sensitive guy, and a guy that when I saw him as a young bloke at Melbourne, I could see that he was the type of guy that things weighed on him quite a bit. And so, it was just, I sat down, he was a great headspace, GI. He's continuing to get treatment. He knows that it's something that just doesn't disappear. And I asked him, I said, what caused the spiral? What really, and he said, what it was, he said, the injury saw me isolated from the playing group. I was unable to contribute on weekends. I wasn't involved with the training with the group, and I found myself suddenly isolated. And basically, you pin yourself to your identity and your worth to how you can contribute. He couldn't do it. Found himself lost, and one thing led to another, and he said his wife ended up saying, Greg, you've got to go and get help.
That's so true, but isn't it? Long-term injuries with players, I've been there, you've been there. Even suspensions, when I've been suspended numerous times in my career, the absence of being around that dressing room makes you think about things you'd never thought about before. And all of a sudden you go, what's going on with me? I'm not going to pull my hand up now and say I was ever depressed in my career, but I was sometimes anxious.
Troubled.
Very, very much
because it had a change in your behaviour.
And you know what? You miss that dressing room environment. And you can understand when blokes, as soon as they retire, how they feel.
And the knee injury and this, and what GI has gone through, I think will be a blessing for Greg, because it's a real warning shot, to a lot of people that when retirement comes, and it does come, when retirement comes, you need something to replace the sport
100%.
And the buzz that gives you, the buzz with being around the boys and the laughter and everything.
But how difficult is that to actually find? Because what you guys go through
I think if I had my time over again, I would try and implement something throughout my career that I could kind of dedicate myself to while I was playing, like a study or something. Yeah. If I was giving advice now to a current player, I'd say you've got to have a plan B.
Yeah.
Because, as Matty said, it ends like that. It's so abrupt. It's 10 years of your life.
But have you got time when you're doing
you've got to find time.
The rules are in place now. An under-20s player has to work or has to study. You can't become... you can't be an under-20s rugby league player in the NRL, register and go, I'm just going to
play PlayStation all day.
No, you can't do. You have to be a registered player. You need to be working or you need to be studying, and so
that's a great rule.
These things have been put in place for players to show, as MG said, is that you need a plan B and you need something. Even if you do have a good career, you need something at the end.
Did GI talk at all about the pressure that he has, because he's someone who's, like you say, the most destructive attacking centre perhaps of all time? So you look upon him as someone who's really, really incredibly strong and he's a real man's man and so forth.
Yeah.
The pressure that he has now that he's come out to be a role model, because he's got to look after himself, right?
Yeah.
But it's difficult not to be a role model when you're someone like Greg Inglis.
I can imagine, Gus, it'd be very, very difficult for Greg, given the fact that he's a very introspective person. And as I said, he's a guy that things do weigh heavily on quite a bit. For then to be the star player, the superstar, the guy who's going to get the job done all the time and have the expectations on him of that, I think that is part of the problem. And I think it's part of the problem with a lot of young players as well.
I think it's unfair to label sportsmen our role models, to be honest. I think our role models are our people like our dads and our uncles and our teachers who teach us things. Role models are blokes you've met.
Unfortunately, the thing is that if you're a role model, someone selects you to role model. You don't put the vacancy up and say, "Hey, listen, I job for a role model." It just happens. When people say I'm not a role model, you say, "No, you don't get a say in it."
Yeah, that's a good point.
The Grill Team, Gus, MG, and Matty Johns.